Good morning, and welcome back to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name's Tony. I'm here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama, with a gift shop. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office taking care of children from birth to age 19 right here in Troy, Alabama. Now, they fund this through a grant that they received from the Children's Trust Fund, whose mission is to reduce or eliminate child abuse and neglect. So, thank you very much for tuning in today. Today, we are going to explore different yoga poses you might use in your garden. This is springtime, the sun is out, the flowers are blooming, and you might be outside with your mommy or daddy, or even with your sister or brother, and just planting beautiful, beautiful plants to grow in your garden for the rest of the year. Maybe you're even planting food plants like broccoli or corn or tomatoes or okra or various types of lettuces or cabbage. But this is a time of year when most people are outside on their knees in the garden to make their beautiful garden whatever they imagine. So today we're going to use yoga poses to explore the garden, and then we're going to use our mind to imagine what it's going to become. So, you'll see I've got my little gardening gloves over here. You don't need any gloves for this. There's no special equipment needed. You might want to clear your space and use maybe a yoga mat. I have mine folded up, so it's more like a one of those kneel-on pads for the garden. If you don't have a yoga pad, that's fine. You can use a towel, you can use a blanket, or you can even use a bare floor if you're comfortable with that. So if you are ready, make sure that you have enough space that you're not going to elbow the person next to you. You don't want to knock down mommy or daddy. We don't bounce like we used to. And you don't want to knock down your kid because that's, they might bounce, but it's not a good thing to try. So if you are ready for me, I'm starting here in our hero's pose. And that is on my knees, feet flat on the floor so that the tops of my feet are resting on the ground. I'm kind of sitting back onto my heels. And from here, we are going to start our breathing exercises like we normally do in our routines. So from here, as you breathe in, lift your body up as you bring your arms up overhead. And as you breathe out, go ahead and sit back down on your heels and let your hands float down. Let's do that a couple more times. So breathe in, bring your arms and bodies up like you're reaching towards the sun. And breathe out and bring your whole body back down. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, bring your arms up overhead. And then breathe out and bring your hands down to your side. Now, if you're in the garden, it's important to keep your eyes on your surroundings. There might be beetle bugs coming up. There might be flies that might try to sting you or bite you, or like mosquitoes. Oh, they are out there in force right now. So let's go ahead and breathe in, come up off of our heels, lengthen and straighten your spine. And as you breathe out, let's go ahead and wrap our arms around to the side as we twist our spine and try to look over our back shoulder. You can start on whatever side works for you. We're going to take one more breath here. Then we're going to take a nice deep inhale, lengthen and straighten our spine as we turn back around towards the front. Let's do that again for the other side. So whichever side you started with, go ahead and do the opposite. Okay, so breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Breathe out, wrap your hands around, a nice twist. Try to look over your back shoulder and look around. See what's here in your garden. See if you can use your imagination and see the trees and the plants and the funny little bugs that are flying around. One more breath, and then lengthen and straighten your spine. And exhale and bring yourself back down to center. Awesome. That's wonderful. So let's try to bend our spine so we can get it warmed up. So as we breathe in, we're going to reach back, bring your arms out wide, tip your head up so you're looking at the sky. And as you breathe out, bring everything close, sit back on your heels. This is a kind of variation of the cat and the cow. So breathe in, bring your arms wide, lift up off of your heels and arch your back so that your head is looking straight up. And then breathe out and sit your heels Now sit your bottom back on your heels, your hands come forward, and your spine is arched forward. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in, spread those arms, and you kind of look like a butterfly in flight. Now's the time you might start seeing them. And exhale and go ahead and float your arms down in front of you as you arch your spine down. How's that feel in your back? You starting to get a little warmed up? Wonderful. Let's go ahead and warm up our shoulders. As we breathe in, bring our shoulders up. Exhale. Breathe in one more time. And exhale, bring them back. Go ahead and spread your shoulders out. Try to get your shoulder blades to touch behind you there. Your arms can be doing anything they need to at the sides. Breathe in. Go ahead and lower your shoulders as much as you can. You might feel a little bit of a stretch up here in your neck. Breathe in and out and bring your shoulders forward. Bring in your shoulder blades as far apart as they can. Try to see if you can get your shoulders as close as you possibly can to the center of your chest. And then breathe in, bring your shoulders up again. Let's do that again, going the opposite way, going forward first. So exhale, bring your shoulders forward. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, lower your shoulders. Kind of sit upright, stretch your spine up a little bit. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, and as you exhale, bring your shoulders back, trying to get the shoulder blades to touch in the back. Your arms can be up, they can be rested, they can be any way that feels good. Inhale, bring your shoulders up to your ears, stretch your shoulders long, and then go ahead and wiggle out your shoulders. I'm sure you got some wiggles in you little ones. Go ahead and wiggle out your shoulders right there. Now, since we're going to be working in the garden, we got to make sure our arms are ready too. And one of the things you might see out in the garden are little birds. Now, I don't really know of any little bird poses, but I do know of eagle arms. And that's when you bring your arms out in front of you so your palms are facing each other. Bring right hand over left. Turn your palms down, in, and clasp your hands. And then bring your hands down, in, and up, and try to stretch your arms forward. It's a good stretch for that lower arm there in your wrist and your hands. Parents, you might be feeling this a little bit more than your youngins because you're using the computer just a wee bit more than they are at this age. One more breath, and then bring your hands in, down, and let them go. Go ahead and shake out those arms. Wonderful. Let's try that again with the other arm. So bring your arms level with the ground, palms facing each other. This time bring your left arm over your right. Turn your palms down, in, and clasp your fingers. Bring your hands down, in, up, and stretch them out as much as you can. Again, moms and dads and adults that care for these kids, this is going to be a little bit more of a stretch for you than it is for the little ones. Go ahead and one more breath, and then bring your hands in, down, and shake them out. Whew. That's a lot of stretch for your forearms. Let's go ahead and do one more forearm stretch since that is very intense for us adults here. And what we're going to do is we're going to get on all fours. Go ahead and bring your hands down. I'm going to go sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, bring your hands down on the ground. And I want you to turn your hands out and around as far as you can manage so that your wrist is facing forward. And what I'd like you to do, as you breathe in, see if you can straighten your back. And as you breathe out, see if you can bring your hips down over your heels, or as close as you can. This is going to be a wonderful flexor stretch. So breathe in, come up. Breathe out, come back. This is a wonderful stretch. You might feel this in your wrist. If it's too much, that's okay. You can turn your hands back forward a little bit and see if that lessens the intensity for you. Breathe in, come back up. This time, bring your hands, fingers forward, and you're going to reach back, sit your hips over your heels, lower your head into child's pose. This is a wonderful way to kind of recover from all those back movements and all the shoulder and arm stretches. You can let your head come down to the ground, or if it doesn't quite come that far, that's okay. Just honor what your body's telling you it is willing to do today, and don't go any further than it's allowing you to. Okay? Breathe in, come back up to all fours, and let's see if we can warm up these knees. We've been on our knees for a while. So, I want you, as you breathe in, lift your right leg level with the ground and your left arm level with the ground, and see if you can balance there for 3 breaths. Inhale, exhale, that's 1. Inhale, exhale, that's 2. Inhale, exhale, that's 3, and let your arm and your leg float down. Go ahead and reestablish your tabletop with your hands under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And this time, you are going to lift your left leg level with the ground and your right arm level with the ground. And we're going to do this for 3 breaths. So inhale, exhale, that's 1. Inhale, exhale, that's 2. Inhale, exhale, that's 3, and let them float back down on the ground. Go ahead and open your knees up just a little bit and sit your hips back on your heels, hands in front of you, lower your head to the ground, back to child's pose. This is going to help your body kind of reassess where everything is, because you just moved your arms and your legs in a way that you don't normally move them. So go ahead, walk your hands back, come back to your hero's pose. Sit back down on your heels. Now, I'm going to turn and face you again, because what we're going to do is we're going to come to sitting on our bottoms, but we're going to do this in a mermaid pose. Are you familiar with mermaids? If you have a little pond in your garden, you can imagine that the mermaids are out swimming and splashing and playing in the pond. And so to be part of this, we're going to sit down on our hips, wrap our legs around the side, lift your torso straight and tall, and look over your opposite shoulder. This is a wonderful little mermaid pose, and it kind of gives a little twist to your spine. If you have any damage to your spine, maybe like a degenerative disc or a bulging disc or even arthritis, you might not want to turn so far. Just turn as far as your body is willing to let you. 1 more breath, and then we are going to come back out of that mermaid pose, and we're going to go into the other side. So go ahead, back up to hero's pose. Bring your opposite hip down. Wrap your legs around like a little mermaid's tail. Support yourself with your hand and lean over and wrap your hand around to your opposite shoulder. Look over that back shoulder. This is a lovely mermaid pose. Imagine you're a mermaid sunning on the beach or sunning on a rock or sunning in your little pond in the garden and splashing at the little fairies or splashing at the little bugs and just having a wonderful time in the sun. This is spring after all. This is the time for fun and play in the sun. Excellent. Let's come back over to our bottom. If you're comfortable with it, you can come out to a nice, easy pose. For you kids, that's called crisscross applesauce. All right, everybody there? Let's go ahead and breathe and just let the air fill our lungs, our sinuses. And if you are like most people out there, you might have an allergy or two, and you might feel a little stuffiness in your nose. So let's try breathing in through our nose and out through the mouth. If you're not able to breathe through your nose because of that stuffy allergy stuff, just breathe lightly through your mouth. Wonderful spring air. It's all around us. Let's go ahead and bring our feet out in front of us, a little bit wider than hips width. And as you are there, make sure that you are nice and upright, that your spine can be upright. Breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn and face your right foot and breathe out and reach towards that foot. Now, if you can reach your knee, that's wonderful. If you can reach your calf, that's even better. If you can reach all the way to your foot, then I think you've maxed out your stretch today. Achievement unlocked for you gamers out there. Go ahead and 1 more breath, and then slowly see if you can pull from your spine. Stack vertebrae upon vertebrae. Breathe in and lengthen and straighten your spine before you turn back to the front and exhale. How did that feel? Did you feel that stretch in the back of your leg there? Excellent. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine. Turn and face your left foot and reach out to see if you can reach your foot. Now, if all you can reach is your knee, that's perfectly fine. And eventually, you can kind of walk yourself towards your foot. If you can reach your calf, that's great. If you can reach your ankle, even better. If you can reach all the way down to your foot, you've maxed out your stretch and achievement unlocked. Wonderful. Go ahead and keep breathing. Don't hold your breath here. One more breath. And then slowly arch your back up until it's up and straight. And then breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine to face to the front. Excellent. Now, all these stretches that we've done so far are things you might do out in your garden. Now, in order to dig in the dirt, we need to reach forward, don't we? So again, keep your legs about this width, a little wider than hip width. And see if you can breathe in, lengthen and straighten your spine, and then reach out in front of you and imagine you're pulling weeds or putting in seeds or raking into the dirt. And just kind of hang out here for a minute. You might feel a nice stretch on your inner thigh, on your hamstrings. This is a wonderful stretch and a good way to get ready for that gardening you might be doing this weekend, if not already. All right, one more breath. And this time I want you to pull from your hips and pull up, arch your back up, and let your head be the last thing to come up. Keep your eyes level and just feel what that feels like. See if you've noticed any difference after those 3 stretches. Are you there? Excellent. So now what we're going to do, like many gardeners I have seen, is we are going to stand up from our seated gardening position. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, first, let's see if we can come back to our hero's pose. Bring our feet in and our knees in. Lift up onto our knees. There we go. Now, I want you to tuck your toes up under your feet, which is going to sit you up a little higher. Put your hands down on the ground in front of you. And then slowly straighten up your legs as you lift your hips up to the sky. This puts you in a kind of a forward fold, and then walk your hands back to your feet. Or at least as far as you can get. If all you can reach is your knees here, that's perfectly fine. If you can reach the ground and rest your head or your hands on it, that's good too. So from here, I want you to kind of walk your feet out wide. And we're going to introduce ourselves to a little friend we might find in our garden. Go ahead and lower your hips as you bend your knees, keeping your hands on the floor, and you're in frog pose. Now, how many of my little froggies out there have a little hop in you? Go ahead and hop, 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 hop. If you have a couple more hops, go ahead and hop. Excellent. Parents, if you can hold on just another couple of breaths, you're doing great. When you're ready, go ahead and slowly straighten out your legs. Now, slowly lift up halfway. Put your hands on your knees. See if you can arch your back here. And then let it sink as you raise your hips and your head. And arch your back. And let your back sink as you lift your hips and head. Go ahead and bend your knees one more time. Arch your back. Pull from the hips as you straighten your legs and your back, letting your head be the last thing to come up. Wonderful. So we've risen up from the garden. Now, how many of you have ever had to dig a hole to plant like a bush or a tree? That's a lot of digging, isn't it? So let's see if we can do a little lunge to stretch as we're digging. So let's turn to our left. Turn your toes out to the left. Turn your right foot, or your right foot at about 45 degrees. Face your left foot. Bend that front knee. Don't let it come over your heel. And see if you can reach down so that your hands are on the ground. Try to make a nice straight line between your head and your back heel. This is a wonderful lunge. You can probably feel that stretch in your thighs and in your hips. Parents probably more so. And when you're ready, straighten up that front leg and see if you can bring your hands to your ankle. This is a pyramid pose. You might find some different rocks and stones in your garden, and you might imagine that you can make your own little pyramid from it. Wonderful. Go ahead and see if you can bring your right hand up and around like a cartwheel. Bring your arms level with the ground. Bend that left knee. Hips are facing to the front. You're in Warrior Two. That was amazing. Now, if you're struggling here, it's okay. You can kind of straighten out that knee to where it's comfortable for you. When you're ready, go ahead and straighten out that front leg. Turn your toes to the front. Turn your palms to the front, and you're in star pose. How awesome is that? Now, let's turn to the right this time with your toes pointing to the right. Your left foot is at about 45-degree angle. You're going to bend that front knee no further than your heel. Don't let it go in front of your heel. That can hurt your knee. Hips to the front, arms up, level with the ground. Look over your right hand, and you are in Warrior Two again. Look at that. Now, from here, we are going to bring our left hand up and over and cartwheel down. See if we can place our hands on the ground. And we're back in that lunge. This is phenomenal. Can you feel that stretch? Good. Go ahead and straighten up that right knee. See if you can bring your hands over to your ankle. This is a nice little pyramid. Now let's go ahead and bring our hands down to the ground and walk them to the center. Little change up for you. Go ahead and make your toes face the front. Hands are on the ground as far forward bent as you need to. Bend your knees out, and we're going to go back to our frog. This is a wonderful day in the garden. Hop, hop, hop. And when you're ready, pulling from the hips, straighten your legs, pull your hips, pull your back straight all the way down through the hips. And let's see if you can arch your back, lifting your arms out to the side. This is a nice full body, full chest stretch. And after working in the garden, your chest might be a little tight. On your next exhale, go ahead and slowly let your arms float down and lift your head so that your eyes are level. How are you feeling? Wonderful. So now we're going to come back to a seated posture. Go ahead and you can get down with a forward fold. Bringing one knee down and then the next knee. And you're in your hero's pose. Okay, so now we're going to dig, 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 and weed, 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 and seed, seed, and fertilize, fertilize, fertilize. Can you do that? Dig, 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 seed, 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 weed, 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 fertilize, fertilize. Now we have made our garden. Let's come back to our easy pose, our crisscross applesauce. And let's practice using our imagination. Whatever you can see up here, you can bring out here. You can make it real. So let's sit in a nice, comfortable posture, our easy seat. Our back is up straight. Our eyes are level. And when you're ready, you can close your eyes and imagine what your garden will look like when it's grown. Do you have flowers or fruits or vegetables or herbs? Do you have a mix of everything? What colors do you see in your garden? Are they tall plants or short plants? Are they broad plants or skinny, spindly plants? Do they climb on vines or do they stand up on their own? What does your garden in your mind look like? Let's go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and imagine the smells that would come from your garden. Can you smell the fresh strawberries or the fresh camellia flowers or even the sweet corn? What do you smell from your garden? Oh, that smells wonderful, doesn't it? Now let's use our other senses. What do you hear in your garden? Can you hear the birds sing? Can you hear the wind blow? Maybe you hear the gentle rain as it comes and waters your garden and helps it grow. Isn't that a lovely experience, feeling that rain, hearing that wind, smelling those fragrant flowers or fruits or even vegetables or herbs that you've planted in your garden? Wonderful. Let's take a moment and Feel genuine gratitude. Give thanks for the ability to imagine these things and then bring them about in reality. It's wonderful. Even just a 1 square foot of dirt can yield some beautiful gardens. And if you don't have a garden, maybe you live in an apartment or a condo, you can get a little container garden, little potted garden. All it takes is a windowsill, a little time and effort, and you can have the garden you see in your mind. Wonderful. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath in and exhale. Are you ready to plant your garden? Go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you very much for joining me here today for Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I am here at MeTime LLC. This is a massage and yoga studio with a gift shop here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician's office here in Troy, Alabama, taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund us through a grant that they received from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So thank you once again for joining us and taking a nice little visit in your garden and making the wonderful garden you see in your mind. I hope you join us again next time for Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. Don't forget, be kind to yourself and others. See you next week. Namaste.